Okay, I'm here with Trevor Lovitz, who plays Travis in The Big Break. Thanks for coming, Trevor.
Thank you, Avi. Good
Uh,
to be reunited.
I know it's been a little while since I've seen you. A lot's happened with the movie, uh, but let's revisit it a little bit. Uh, Curious, I guess we could start with like what your maybe like your when you well, actually, you know what? Because I don't know much about your journey as an actor, and I think. I was kind of surprised to find out at some point that even though we had worked together with you as an actor, I don't think it was until the big break that I discovered that you actually had a very kind of like serious
Well, I would not use that word.
no, I mean you have like
It was,
credits
it was,
on IMDb and like
I do,
are
I
an
do
actor.
have an IMDb page that Avi's been updating the IMDb page of this movie, and I got added as Trevor Lowritz. So,
This wasn't
what
me.
would have been my third IMDb credit is well,
It's
being assigned to a fictitious personality
no, it's somebody who's in
but
the movie Coda. If you look,
in the movie Coda. Somebody who's probably far more accomplished than me. But once we get that straightened out, that'll be my third IMDb credit in
uh,
my illustrious film career.
that was an error, not done by me.
Yeah,
But yeah, we put in the amendment, so hopefully it gets fixed soon. But yeah, I mean,
right.
you like wanted to be an actor, you pursued acting.
Oh, I mean, well, I guess I'm an ex-theater kid.
Yeah,
It's not something I like to talk about, just given the stigma associated with theater kids sometimes.
I was a actor myself, so
Yeah, but Avi, you were more accomplished than me because you had one of my favorite scenes in Wet Hot American Summer as the kid at the day camp doing off-color stand-up.
yes. I don't know that scene could ever get made today, but
It could not, but it was so good.
I know, and it's funny because I was like 14, and
You were doing like what, Richard Pryor, or is that Eddie Murphy? I don't
I
even
mean,
know.
he made me watch Eddie Murphy as like to study
Yeah,
for. Yeah,
so good.
that was like like I didn't act very much as a kid, but just because I had that one line, and then I went to film school like at the time when like that movie was becoming kind of
Hmm.
like a cult classic. I felt like I just became very associated. It's like, oh, you're the kid in Wet Hot American Summer. But yeah, that's at least I guess that's what I have to show for my acting days. There's that like
I
one.
think that's a little measure of immortality right there, just being said, because I'm one of those cultists who
Very,
was that in the movie.
yeah, it's a good movie.
Um, yeah, as far as my own acting career, I mean, did it throughout my early years as a youth in Westchester, New York. Won the high school yearbook superlative, most likely to win an Oscar. That didn't really pan out.
You
But
got
then when I moved to this, sorry,
you got time.
I got time. I'm only 31 now. When I moved to the city, though, I kind of kept it going with extra work, as a young college student, I had some time on my hands. I'd be guy walking down the sidewalk or guy at the bar. And I did a couple, or Immigrant at Ellis Island for Winter's Tale. I think that was, was another one I was in. But I had a couple odd gigs, like there was this movie, A Birder's Guide to Everything, that had Cody Smith McPhee, I think, from The Road. Oh, and do you know who else was in that? Um, the kid, one of the Wolf brothers from the Naked Brothers band, who would go on to be the brother in Hereditary.
Oh, Alex Wolf, who's also in Pig,
Alex Wolf.
like one of my
Yeah,
favorite movies of the last.
he was in Pig. I remember you talking about Pig on set. Yeah, he was a really obnoxious kid at the time. This was far long before his Hereditary days. But there was also an Asian kid in the cast, and I was his stunt double because he didn't know how to drive a car, so they dyed my hair black, and I drove a car down the sawmill, kind of like jerky movements, and so that was one gig, and I was a bully in a movie set in Brooklyn in the 80s, and that was it. So it all sort of ended around 2014, and I just sort of put it behind me until you and I got into contact again through a mutual friend, or got in contact for the first time. That would have been 2017,
Yeah. Um,
2018.
so all the acting you're doing is in New York.
Yeah, but then it ended. I sort of threw in the towel around 2013.
Yeah, we both had similar proximities to New York. I'm guessing you like were able to do auditions. Uh,
Oh, I wasn't auditioning for anything.
oh, really? Oh, okay.
No.
I was okay. So all right. So yeah, like 2017, our mutual friend who's like influenced this movie in quite a few ways because he not only introduced
Hmm.
us, also introduced me to Joseph's music, who's
Hmm.
um yeah, like his music is going to be all over this movie. Um,
What's he credited as in the end credits?
I think either music by or composer.
No, I was talking about Sav.
Probably special thanks. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't
okay,
know.
good.
He doesn't have actual
Okay.
credit. I don't know. If he wants one,
He'll give him some sort of shout out.
if you want one, talk to me. Um, but yeah, I mean, he didn't directly work on the movie, but like he had these weird
Weird contributions.
yeah, yeah. Maybe I'll figure out something. But I don't even necessarily really remember how you came on board. Or so I was working in VR. I had access to like VR equipment and like
360 camera.
the 360 camera, and I was I mean, I was still like wanting to pursue filmmaking. I was like, oh, maybe I should. Like, I definitely knew I wasn't going to get the opportunity in my like day job to make my own movies. And there was like a
Hmm.
little bit of a moment. I have a feeling it's either dead or dying or it's going to be very sparse, but like VR movies, which I think in theory were kind of cool. Like, I think they're cool. It's like the idea of like a movie that you might be able to like walk around in. There's something there that might get explored, but it's like way down the line. But anyway, I was like, I may as well take this 360 camera home and just have fun and film something because I missed filming something. And so I don't that's like all I and then I had like a stupid little it was definitely like I was trying to think of like what do you do with a 360 camera? Like you can't really have a crew. You have to set it up and then just disappear.
Hmm.
So I wrote a script that was really only two actors and the camera was its own character. So you were like kind of interacting with that. And then I knew I had to find two actors and I must have reached out to Saba at some point. Maybe I don't know. What was that?
Yeah, Sava reached out to me and told me about the project. I think you were filming it at your house in Bushwick, your apartment in Bushwick.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Uh, does that sound right? And yeah, I mean, that's all there was to it. We filmed it in one night. There was this very intense actor, Will Ferrell.
I don't know. I don't want to use too many names.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh,
No.
but I think that's all
But
right.
he was so funny. I had trouble keeping a straight face
Yeah.
during that shoot. But the another weird connection is that Avi, you were pitching that sort of experimental film, sort of like like innovating in that nascent VR genre to Tim, who was working at Google,
Yes.
uh, doing something with their VR division. I don't know exactly what, but he explained it to me on our car ride to Allentown. But then Tim obviously would later be Alan in
Yeah,
this project. So
yeah.
we had three people sort of
Yeah, I mean, we were technically
reunite.
working in the same like org, I guess you would call it. We were both working for the VR team at Google, like
Yes, that's right.
totally different. Like he was an engineer and I was like the mixed reality filmmaker, which was just like I was kind of creating my own role. Like they just kind of needed somebody who understood film. Uh,
Hmm.
VR, a big part of VR is like video adjacent. So yeah, but yeah, Tim and I had hit it off like from the beginning, and then we ended up like going to like a different like I guess I don't know, Google's very complicated, but we went to like a different part because the VR thing was like kind of dying. I don't even know that they have much of a VR team anymore. And then worked together in like a much more fun environment where it was like kind of creating our own companies and trying to do our own thing. And he was doing stuff AI related. And I was like trying to work on interactive video, um, which I think was just my way of kind of like, I don't think VR is going to take off the way you guys think it is. I don't think people are like really comfortable with like immersion. Maybe first give them like make comfort with like interactivity. Uh,
Mm.
that's what I was kind of stepping toward. And like Netflix had just released like Bandersnatch, Black Mirror, which was like,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
yeah, it always gets pigeonholed with like the choose your own adventure type thing. But I was trying to help people think that maybe that there was more to this. Maybe I was just trying to trick myself. In the end, I don't really know. But I think ultimately I was just trying to get back to filmmaking. So then when I decided to make this movie, um, I I'm trying to think like when I reached out to you. So this whole movie was like a very, you must have experienced this the most, I think, like directly where I you came in all right, so I wrote the script very much thinking I would not have to make anyone travel. Like I wrote it with like people I knew, um, and I was like, nothing is gonna let stop me from making this movie. And
Mm.
two of the actors that I wrote parts for, like couldn't do it, and so I had to find new people, and Luke was one of them, and you were one.
Including the inspiration for my
Yes,
character of Travis, the original Travis.
yes,
Obviously, it wasn't a one-to-one match, but there was a seed of that character and this person you knew.
yeah. So we can talk
Right.
about that, but I think the key for here is like Chris is the one who's like actually who actually is
A
in.
townie. Yeah.
But like I wrote Doug for Chris. It's not like Doug is,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I wrote Doug knowing that Chris could pull that off and that I could work with him. And even though he didn't have acting experience, like I could elicit that performance.
Right.
The same applies to the person I wrote Travis for. So you
Hmm.
so I was very nervous about you coming on board, and you were too. It took a lot of back and
Oh,
forth and convincing.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, and that was like the way that you described it to me was that you like I think maybe I put overemphasis on your on this like acting dream, but I felt like you it was like this dream of yours and you didn't want to revisit it because it was like um something you put behind you.
I wouldn't say it was ever a dream of mine, but it was something that was very important to me once and something that I once found a lot of joy in that creativity and performing and something that I had entirely lost touch with. So I never like seriously considered it a career in acting, and I never had any strong acting ambition, but I did know it was something that was sort of a link to my past, a past version of myself that I had completely lost touch with as I got older. And when you first reached out to me, it was during a strange period in my life where I was living with somebody for 2 years, a partner, and we were in the process of splitting up, but I hadn't actually moved out of the house yet. She kept the apartment. And, it was just this odd combination of circumstances that, you know, offer coming when it did, where I, at first I was, you know, very hesitant, but, because first of all, I didn't want to disappoint you and I wasn't confident in my own abilities. And it had been so long. The last time I had acted was in that VR project. And then the last time before that was when I was doing background work over a decade ago. But then, the more I considered it and this whole concept, which was just so far-fetched of going to Allentown, PA for a week, shooting a feature-length film, which in itself was just a really mind-boggling concept to me. Um, Getting to know some guys that I have never met except for Avi, just re-immersing myself in this character, throwing myself into this project. I It was in a sense I thought maybe exactly what I needed at that point in time, and that ended up being the case. And in that process, I did reconnect with, you know, that past version of myself that I had forgotten about. I did rediscover that joy. I haven't um done anything with it since, but it was really good to have that sort of rekindling of the passion. And I don't think I would have given, I don't think I gave the quite the performance I would have been capable of when I was back at the top of my craft, such as it such as it was. But I'm happy with it turned out because it was just unfiltered. It was off the wall. And I think the life circumstances that I was navigating at that period of time sort of fed into how unhinged the character was because I was in my own way somewhat unhinged at that period of time. And
Yeah.
I think it came through in
Yeah,
the role.
I think so too. And I think a lot of other people have seen that performance.
Yeah, so it wasn't written for me, but it turns out that I think I might have been the right person for the job just given the
There's a
circumstances.
yeah, weird like serendipity to like all of this, I think, in the movie.
Mm,
Like I can't imagine this movie without Luke as like Charlie. It's just he anchored so much of this. And yeah, I mean
yeah,
it really was one of these weird things where it's like it just kept getting better and better. And I think like um I think you were definitely very I think because you were very like concerned about not wanting to ruin the project and like there was trepidation I think on both of our ends. We didn't get to do much
yeah,
rehearsal. We did a little bit over like Zoom, but
which is tough. Yeah,
so much of Travis is just like physical and also having written this for another person, I was like, oh, is he gonna be able, is this character, do I have to like rewrite this character and tailor it? Uh, and I don't know, but I'll tell you like the moment I didn't I didn't see you really act physically until we shot the scene where you like that I guess it was
the arrival.
yeah, you arrive at the house. You would like and we had already started filming because and you just weren't in the scene. So I didn't really know what to expect. But I just remember that delivery and just being like this huge kind of like sigh of relief. More than that, but just like just this kind of like electric going through me. I was just like, whoa, this is gonna be good. And it was just like you did some kind of move where you like fell over the luggage. And it was just like this great
It was like a very Kramer-esque
yes,
entrance,
yes,
and
it was
he shows
exactly
up with a mountain
yeah.
of luggage.
But
So,
the physical comedy that you added to it was just
yeah,
like so on point and so hilarious that I was just like, all right, we're good. And I knew I was like that this was gonna work out. So but I didn't know until we actually started filming. But you were definitely
yeah,
saving that. It was like a whole like I wasn't expecting you to be able to like transform so much because you were so nervous. I don't know if nervous is the right word, but like
oh
um
yeah. It definitely wasn't confident in my own abilities at that point in time.
yeah, I would call it humility at this point because like you really transformed immediately as soon as you got into character.
It was good. I mean, the physical comedy in some of those scenes that was always some of the best stuff to do and the most fun I had on set. And it was great to be able to start off with
Yeah.
that scene and the mountain of luggage, but also like any other um of the physical bits we had with Travis, whether he's crouching on the couch wearing a ski mask or the various Travis family characters, the cat. It was nice because I felt like those beats were less demanding than some of these really nuanced, more I don't know, introspective moments that he has in his character where he's I mean obviously there's a lot going on in that character and it was hard to know how to play him at times, but the physical stuff is easy. But the I don't know, some of those more substantive, introspective scenes of his were was that was when the challenge came in.
Yeah, and I don't think I made it easier on you in that. Like I do think Travis very easily um I mean like he's the main conflict of this movie really is Charlie and Travis. And I think Travis very easily could have been like I think if we didn't handle this well, and if you didn't really figure out the complexity to the character or add layers and figure out the more challenging scenes, it could have felt like very one note. And that was a fear of mine.
Hmm.
Is this just going to be like, is it going to be like a joke? I want this character to feel like real and have depth um you were able to do that in addition to the physical comedy. But the yeah, the physical comedy, I immediately have like all of these moments pop up, and
Yeah.
because I couldn't move the camera, like it was just, we didn't really have, because of the way we shot, everything was pretty stationary, very quick setups. Like that physical comedy like works very well in these like static frames. Um,
Mm.
from just not just like the big Kramer-esque things, but also your like long conversations with Luke and you just like inching closer and closer. I'm thinking about when you
Forgot about that.
open the door to see Alan. It's one of my favorite moments is the
Mm.
door opening. Just the perfect speed, you sticking your
Or
head.
the Grandpa Travis slowly creeping up
Yes.
the stairs and the sort of homage to Nosferatu. Was that what we were
Yes.
going for there?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that horror element is gonna come through, but
Yeah.
a couple of times. But yeah, there's like the slow yeah,
Slow takes.
yeah, that just require this like physicality that's more and more endearing. I don't know. You clearly have a gift for it. I wasn't expecting that. But
Yeah, that was
as soon as I saw that you had it, I was like, let's embrace this as much as possible.
if we make a sequel, we'll have to dial up the amount of physical comedy.
Yeah. Well, there might be another movie if we get lucky.
Mm.
Um, all right. Well, what else is there? I've done a lot of these, so I apologize if I'm like, uh, I forget so much of. Oh, I know what to ask you. Okay. So, uh, one of the things that you really brought, well, all right. So first of all, like the four of you had this like really wonderful bond that I think
Mm.
is amazing. And I guess maybe it sounds like because of what you were going through. Uh, I don't know, but like one of the biggest moments for me, and I think everyone, that like really cemented this as like a really special time for everyone, in addition to like not just like making a really fun movie and what we hope is a good movie, uh, but there was that kind of last day, I think, when you really brought the vulnerability out of everyone and like really pushed that, where you like kind of made everyone sit in a circle at the end. It was like tell us something that like, but I mean
I
that
was
was,
big on group bonding activities. Yeah.
yes, you like initiated group bonding activities, but it
Yeah.
worked beautifully, and I'm not quite sure how you pulled that off.
Yeah. Maybe it was the character of Travis rubbing off on me because Travis himself was a big fan of group bonding activities in the film, if you'll remember, even if it was for the ultimate purpose of making content for his TikTok. But I think remember the Two Truths and a Lie? I think it was
Yeah,
the group bonding activity I would do later. Now that I think about it, was somewhat reminiscent of that scene. But basically, I forget what questions I was asking everybody. It was you and Tanya and Rupak and Tim and Chris and Luke, obviously, everybody who's there at the time. I guess their highs and lows of working, mainly their highs, like what was their favorite moment? What was their favorite scene to shoot? And yeah, it was good. Because I think we had been through so much, obviously filming a feature length film over the course of in the space of a week is extraordinary effort. And we had all been through it at that point. But there was a certain elation as we reached to the end and thinking, wow, we actually did it because it looked doubtful at times. And it was good to take that moment and actually reflect because it really did bring us together over the course of the week. And so, yeah, I think I just took a page out of Travis's book. Maybe I was still partially in character, um,
yeah, it
and
was
sort of prodding people.
yeah, the that moment for me was a very important moment because uh I could feel everybody like enjoying it, and knowing that you guys just kept wanting to shoot into the night, and seeing you guys like rehearse in between takes, and like just seeing everybody fire on all cylinders. Like it was clear like it was going well, but I hadn't heard anyone like articulate that. And
Mm,
knowing that this was such a like that this could have potentially been a very bad experience. Put four people in a house together, have a crew with no film experience, like try to make a feature film, and like
mm,
so many things could have gone wrong. Um, and just to know that like not only did they not, uh, but that you guys like had really really like meaningful takeaways
really
from.
rewarding.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that really helped me a lot, I think. Not just after the shoot to feel like good about it, but to like carry this into post-production. But the thing that you said was very similar to the thing that I said. Uh, I don't know if you remember, but you basically said that this project reignited your like passion for acting. And in the same way, this project like reignited my passion for filmmaking. And I didn't know that it would going into it.
Right. Me neither.
Yeah. Are you going to pursue acting, or are you going to just wait for me to try to make another movie?
I'll wait for your next project.
Right.
Or yeah, but it certainly was a highlight of my year in 2024. Yeah, I'm definitely more open to acting again as a result of that.
I hope you continue
Um,
to pursue it because you really like you really were a force. Like as soon as you
yeah, but
there.
that being said, I mean, having Luke as a scene partner, this is what a real actor looks like. I felt hopelessly overmatched by him.
But this
Outmatched.
I've talked to Luke, and I've talked to Tim. Uh, I haven't talked to Chris yet, but I think everybody will agree that that Luke was like um not just like the anchor, but yeah, he was an acting coach to like
All of us.
all of you guys, and like yeah, just the ultimate kind of scene partner because he very much put your performances. I think like he really worked hard to get the best performances out of like everyone else. But I mean, especially I think with Tim and Chris because they hadn't had acting experiences before.
He was extraordinarily patient with all of us. And then he did coax these really great performances out of them, and he got them to these places. I'm thinking of some of his scenes with Tim, when they're in conflict with one another, Charlie and Alan, where there's these like really beautiful, bittersweet moments um, that could only have happened with two of them, playing their roles superbly. And I think Luke really helped get Tim, who had no acting experience,
Yeah.
to that place, and it's a credit to both of them,
Yeah. Yeah.
that they were able to capture those moments on film. And I hope it comes through in the final product.
I think it does. Yeah, I just talked to Tim, and like I mean, I think it was this weird combination of like just everything being in the right place, like the fact that Tim was in this secluded room. I like
Mm.
actually helped him because he didn't feel like he described it as singing in the shower. Like he didn't feel like people were watching him, which helped him because he wasn't used to, you know, performing in front of people.
Although you remember the day of his experience on it,
Yes, yes, I know.
he struggled with that. Did you ask him about that? Check it into
We talked
Did that
about it a
not
little
come up?
bit. We're still not like, yeah, I'm not 100% sure if that will even be in the film. We're trying to figure that out. But if not, it'll be in a deleted scene that people should check out.
Okay.
They do end up going down this. But yeah, that was like, it was amazing. I mean, Luke literally taught Tim how to perform Shakespeare in real time. And
Mm,
that was fun to watch.
it was a big project.
Yes, we spent a lot of time on that. Um, And yeah, there was so much that I wanted to get out of that that I don't know. Not that it has nothing to do with the performances, actually, like the filmmaking part of it that I was like, I don't know if this quite like expresses what I was going for. And I
Mm,
think a lot of that is just the restrictions that I had of like not being able to like do sort of camera techniques that I might have been able to do with a little bit more of a crew and
mm,
equipment. Um, but well, also you, I think one big scene is like that I was really scared about, um, because it's a really giant chunk in the middle of the movie, and it's just a really long dialogue between you and Luke. Um, and that was something I wasn't sure if it it kind of comes in the middle of the movie, and it's kind of the point where I think I I I, I kind of anticipated it as being the scene where people either like get bored and like nod off, or it's the scene
mm.
that people are like, if they're willing to sit with these two characters, just talk. That's kind of like, you're either with it or you're not at that point. And
Yeah.
that scene, I really think you guys, I was very surprised that you guys like kind of almost nailed it in the first take. And I thought it was gonna take a lot of not only like takes, but that we would have to shoot it, get a lot of coverage of it, and like find the right moments and probably like reconstruct it and shorten it at times. But I know that I can't. We're not just gonna like sit on the wide for that whole scene, but like really, honestly, the wide shot of that scene just playing out, seeing you guys talk, there's such a chemistry there, and again, like that nuanced physical comedy. If you slowly
Slowly inching.
inching towards the
But I mean
yeah,
that was supposed to mirror like them overcoming their, or at least Charlie overcoming his reticence and his sort of antipathy to this character and maybe giving him a chance. I think you're right. It was a really dialogue heavy scene, and it was sort of smack dab in the middle of the movie, right? But I think that it was really great, rich material for us to work with. So it wasn't too hard to get to that place where, that we ultimately did, because I mean, the way I understand it, I'd be interested to hear your interpretation up until that point. My character Travis brings all this conflict within the house. He comes in like a volcano or a tornado, disrupts the physical harmony of the home, such as it was. Um, Introduces tension between Charlie and Alan, and a lot of that plays out in his obnoxious video shoots with the Travis family, with his luggage that just permeates every nook and cranny of the house. His really aggressive attempts to win uh, Charlie over, like through the oatmeal and through like the crap like that. And it is until there's this high energy, and that's sort of um, underscored in the use of the, what was it, the air mattress pump. This jarring sound just sort of matches like this chaotic, obnoxious energy that this guy's bringing into the house, this unwanted visitor. And it is until the the plug is pulled on the pump, and there's this quieting down that happens right around then, and this first scene of like really extended dialogue between these two guys. And I think it's in that moment where Travis really, you get to know him on a deeper level. This is a guy who's, you know, so far he's been obviously unlikable for a lot of reasons, superficial, annoying. But then you see somebody who's really been through it. He's been through a period of prolonged isolation. He's like, hit rock bottom. He's somebody who's dying for connection. He's somebody who's actually thoughtful and not unkind, and who genuinely just wants to make friendships with Charlie, and to reconnect with Travis, and to find some sort of port in the storm, to use this nautical
yeah,
metaphor that I think is appropriate for the character. And Charlie, who's a very guarded character, he begins to slowly let down his defenses over the course of the scene, and I love how it plays out, and it takes time to breathe, and it's slow, but I think that's why it's really compelling material because you sort of you play it in real time, and Travis is still very awkward and very maybe over eager at times. That's why you see the inching forward. But there's some really sweet beats in there. I think you always said that, Avi, throughout the course of that scene, and that's why it was one of my favorite scenes to film. And then, I mean, they're both awkward guys. Like these are not well-adjusted guys, all things considered, and they're people who could definitely stand to benefit from like going out and about in society and getting out there more. And I think it shows in their, the weird, like there's some weird dialogue there. It's like weird, cringy dialogue between two dudes. Some of it that almost has this like slightly like almost like homoerotic undertones.
Yeah, we keep talking
Yeah,
about it. But for me, it was I mean,
you
it's
could,
just two people who are dying for human connection. That's how I
yeah,
approach it. And like, but coming at it from completely different angles and like
yes.
trying to find that middle ground. And I don't know if it was you or Luke, but somebody posted to me like, is that should there be homoerotic tension in this scene? I genuinely hadn't thought about that. And once you guys said that, I was like, well, you should definitely explore that. And I don't know. I
What was
still
the yeah? What was the line?
don't.
Like I'm getting some tickle vibes. I don't.
Yeah, it's like there's the tiny. It's the
It's like
perfect
something that's
amount.
something's like a little bit weird there.
They don't know how to connect, and I like that. And I don't think the
Yeah, and I think that's like what the movie is about. The way I read it, in a lot of ways, it's about human connection in the modern age. It's about isolation. It's about alienation. It's about, just trying to find ways of actually meaningfully connecting with one another, even though you've sort of forgotten how
yeah
at a certain point in your life. And I mean, that difficult, sometimes painful process of establishing those bonds. I think connection in all its form. I mean, what's the connection between Alan and Charlie look like? What does that mean? What does it portend for this unknown world that we're heading into? But yeah, and then the connection between, you know, Charlie and Travis, I think or Luca and Travis is a, more traditional
Charlie and Travis.
bond that's explored. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's to me that's very much what the movie is about. And
Yeah.
I hope it shows. But that was the intention is like this is a movie about human connection between two people who are very much struggling at it from different angles and
Hmm.
phones or technology in the form of a phone is such a like easy way to avoid having to confront that and just exploring that from totally different angles. One with like
Yeah.
media addiction and the other with like actual like partnership like with a an AI on a phone and seeing how that could collide. But yeah, that's
Right.
I think you guys like just nailed the nuance of that and um that's I think where if this movie turns out what in the way that I hope it is, like that's the scene where I think it starts to like really feel like there's a depth here
Mhm.
that we were able to get to. You also just reminded me of the oatmeal scene, and I was thinking about like you were probably very frustrated with me a lot of the time because you realized that I did not stop shooting because I just wanted to see what you would do at the end of every take, and the oatmeal scene especially because you always did something different, and it was always funny and physical comedy. So I just never said cut, and I would just keep rolling until you would like kind of
Long after I had exhausted my ideas. Yeah.
yeah, you're just like, are you still filming?
Yeah.
So you probably got annoyed with me a couple of times, but I definitely
I
tested.
think we got some good moments out of that.
Yeah, I think it was worth it. All right, we have a few questions, which I've posed everyone who's been part of the movie to ask. So, um, let's go through these. Tanya asks, "You are not like your character Travis at all. How did you find the zaniness of Travis in yourself?"
Mm. Well, I think we sort of touched on it before, but just because I was coming from a place of like such dislocation and just incredible change in my life that I was a little off kilter, and I think that made it easier for me to tap into whatever Travis was going through at that moment when he arrives in the house. And I think I had a lot of pent up energy,
Yes.
um, that the role ended up being like a great outlet for
Yeah.
just doing that and being wild, falling over luggage, eating oatmeal, you know, wearing weird outfits that I never ordinarily would. It was just like putting on becoming an entirely different person at a time when that was very much what the doctor ordered.
That's great. You really channeled that well. And like I said, it was like
Yeah.
your performance was the one I just like I could never say cut when we were lingering on you because you just would always surprise me with something. So yeah. Tanya also asks, what is Travis's relationship with Charlie? You might have touched on this a little bit, but
Yeah, I think Travis is coming from a place where he's been out at sea,
yeah.
so working on boats with minimal human contact for a long time. His only real form of connection to the outside world is through the absolute garbage he watches on TikTok, which, and I hope you're able to like release the AI generated TikToks that you made for Travis. Or I hope they come through in the movie because it's just genius stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
They'll either be that or better. So yeah.
yeah, and then he sees Charlie, and it's somebody who he thinks he could be friends with, and it's something he realizes Charlie's like what's been missing in his own life. He fills a hole in his existence. You know, he thinks that Doug is great, but Doug, you can sort of see in the film that his friendship with Doug is very surface level. There's not a lot of depth there. Am I wrong? Am I wrong about that? Like,
Doug is the beauty of this movie in the like he's he's the he's the human that connects with all the other humans, but there's only a certain level of depth there.
yeah.
I think that's
So I think he's certainly fond of Doug, you know.
everybody
I don't
loves
think he
Doug,
takes
but
everybody loves Doug. Nobody takes him totally seriously, maybe.
yes. Yeah.
Um, and so that's great that he has that with Doug. Doug, who like barely understands what he's been up to the last, 5 years, and also they only have very surface level
Yeah.
interactions at any point, except towards the end where they're in like that climatic sequence where they both spring into action. That's a different side of Doug, obviously, and you see that. But with Charlie, I think he feels like he could be a genuine bond, and he also just wants to open up and sort of share his hardship and um, develop a more mm, deep friendship than what he enjoys with Doug, and something that he hasn't had access to, and he goes about it in all the wrong ways initially, you know, trying to woo him with oatmeal and other tactics, but ultimately, I think he gets there, and they have some nice moments, and I think it heals Travis, and then that's part of the reason why he absconds like a thief in the night, and the at the end, I think, and I mean, not just because he went viral, but also because I guess he scratched that itch, maybe.
Yeah. Woo with oatmeal is now going to be one of my favorite phrases. But yeah, I think that's a great analysis. And I think the I think it's impossible to look at the Travis Charlie dynamic without Doug to an extent because the other part of Doug that I think is has to be mentioned because he does have his own arc, but he's up until a certain point, he's very much like an enabler to uh it's not that I don't think he's able to have like deep conversation relationships with Travis and Charlie, but he treats Alan like Alan is human. And like very much like sort of enables Charlie to continue like that
Mm,
with Alan and like you see that when he's like running around like just when Charlie disappears because Alan's upset and like
Mm,
doing it very much for Alan. And then like Travis asks him to like act in the Travis family stuff. And so Doug is he's just always like he's easygoing and like uh willing to participate, but it 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 kind of enables Travis and Charlie to fall deeper into their like relationships with their phones, for lack of a
yeah.
better way to describe it. And yeah, I don't know. I think that I don't know, throwing Doug into the mix is just like it really forces Charlie and Travis to like have to think through what that human dynamic looks like when the other's not really, they're both kind of like dismissing the other's relationship with uh
Yeah.
I don't
I
know if
mean
I'm
that does make me now, and that makes me wonder about that relationship between um Travis and Alan specifically. I mean, I think there's some mutual suspicion between the two, and I think that goes back to what you're saying is that which is that both Travis and Charlie have problematic relationships with technology, but very different relationships with technology. They're both dependent on
yeah.
their phones, but in entirely different ways. And so I think there's this mutual incomprehension there between the two of them about what the other one's relationship with their phone. And I think you see, it doesn't come out too much, but I think you do see some bewilderment from Travis
Yeah.
about Alan, about the nature of their relationship. I wouldn't say they really bond too much throughout the film. I think they have some moments of conflict, actually. They're just a few and far between, but it's clear that they never really fully come to terms with one another, I think.
Yeah, I think it's exactly that Travis and Charlie are the same in a lot of ways, in the fact that they have this relationship with technology. They see that the other has, and just because it's the phone, it's like that same physical form of technology. They see the other kind of doing something similar, and but yes, from a totally different angle. And so there's this fascination, and I think
Mm,
when that begins is when like you ask or Travis asks Charlie to help with Travis family, and he's like kind of open to it, and that's the beginning of you guys starting to like have that bonding. And then the moment I think the Travis Allen thing was always something I wasn't sure how to portray.
mm.
The one moment that I know like perfectly captures it, and I know if that's all that ends up in the final cut, I'm happy with it, is just that slowly opening the door,
That's what I was thinking too.
a
Like,
little bit,
please close the door.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Shh. Like the curiosity is there, the fascination is there, but you just don't know how to navigate it.
But then towards the end, I think, you know, once Charlie's disappeared, there's some I think Travis and Alan reached some sort of mutual understanding. And I also think that, well, would you say it's fair to say that Charlie sort of comes to terms with Travis' family and would they do they reach at least some level of mutual acceptance of one another's relationship with technology at
Yeah,
the end?
yeah. I would acceptance
Yeah,
is probably the right word. Yeah.
yeah. Grudging acceptance, maybe.
I would even say potentially jealousy on Charlie's end, uh, which I think is kind
Yeah,
of yeah, I don't know. It's something that I could probably analyze a lot because I myself have tried to keep it nuanced, and you guys added so many layers to it. But I do think I love that whole sequence of you blowing up on social media and just knowing that Charlie's this
yeah.
like actor. and you essentially are becoming a famous actor just in this new form.
There's a lot there to unpack, I think.
Yeah.
And then it also there's a certain ambiguity to the end of the film, right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, it's up for the audience to interpret, but I personally think that there's some suggestion that Charlie might be questioning his whole relationship, not only to his phone, but the way he's going about pursuing his line of work. And maybe it is because he witnessed Travis's success and they've been through so much. And maybe, he's, yeah, questioning all of his previously held notions about
Yeah.
the nature of success and technology. And
Yeah. I think if
yeah, he's more questions than answers at the end, I think.
yes, and I think that's the goal. If this movie plays out
Yeah.
well, um, I think the goal is that like the audience walks away thinking that Travis came into Charlie's life and ultimately had a positive effect in the sense that he's just like now more reflective and introspective and thinking about things that he hadn't thought about before. Um,
Yeah. I mean, who gets the happiest ending in the film? It's really Travis.
oh, yeah, arguably, maybe.
I would say so.
I don't know what social media fame looks like. It doesn't always end well. Uh, Julia asks, do you see yourself acting in future projects? We touched on this a little bit.
The next Avi Setton
All right.
production.
Well, scripts in progress, and if we get to make it, there's definitely a role for you. Julia
Nice.
also, did you want to elaborate on that?
No, that's what I got.
Okay. Julia also asks, yeah, you might have touched on some of this. Travis is such a wild and chaotic character, but your performance feels very authentic. Did you relate to Travis in any way in order to achieve that authenticity in your performance?
Yeah, I related to him because I think, although he's an oddball, there's some universality there to it. I mean, he he's an exaggerated version of so many of us who experience some degree of alienation and isolation in this hyper digital age where we all have unhealthy relationships to technology, and that all sort of has rewired our brains
Yeah.
in unhealthy ways with short attention span, and we're dopamine addicts to scrolling our phones and just looking at the next TikTok, and it's sort of hampered. I do think our ability to meaningfully connect with one another, to be authentic, to be sincere, to have genuine connections and conversations. And I think it's something we have to relearn as humans. So maybe we haven't gone through the same extreme physical circumstances of Travis, being out on a boat, having minimal human contact for years. But I think in some more minor sense, we're all kind of Travis, and that we're all having to relearn how to connect with one another and uh, you know, master our problematic relationships that we have with phones, with technologies, and sort of move past that to remember what it's all about. And I think there was something universal there about Travis that wasn't too hard to tap into.
That's very beautifully put. And I keep questioning, is anybody ever going to actually watch any of these videos? And if to this point, uh, uh, you've given it a lot of like meaning. Like that's
It's good for us, though. This is a healthy exercise for us as a post-mortem
yeah. It's also just like these are the conversations that I feel like that I don't know that at least this is my attempt to like because I wasn't sure how to like present this movie or story to the world. And I was like, I don't want to like try to sell myself, but I'll talk to everyone for a while and but
Yeah.
yeah, maybe
This
that's
is the stuff we talked about during the filming and beforehand too. These are
yeah.
the sorts of conversations we had,
I guess there's
really.
like the this because I guess I was saying like calling it like podcast style conversation, and maybe that's why podcasts are so popular these days is that people want to hear these like long drawn out. I don't know. Maybe there's something there. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
And the last question you asked yourself, you
Oh
met the
yeah.
you met the real life inspiration for Travis. What was that like?
Yeah. So the real life inspiration for Travis, he was working, of course, naturally on boats in Queens, I think in the Rockaways in the summer of last year before we began filming. And Avi was kind enough to put us in touch with one another. And so I was expecting, well, I didn't know what to expect, but you read the script and you think, I'm thinking this guy's gonna be off the wall
Yeah.
or he's gonna be glued to his phone. I had a very exaggerated idea of what the inspiration for Travis would be like. And obviously I knew it wasn't gonna be a one-to-one match. But I so we meet up at this Irish pub in Queens. Did I freeze?
Yeah, you did. Oh,
Maybe.
you're back.
Okay, it's better. We met up at this Irish pub in Sunnyside. I bought him his drinks, downs the first one, like 20 seconds flat. Damn.
Mhm.
But he was magnetic. I was captivated by him. He was so worldly. He was so measured when he spoke. He had this calmness. I thought everything that flew in the face of what I had imagined um, of this character. I mean, he was tall and fit, and he had this long hair and glasses, and he just extraordinarily introspective. And I mean, all of his thoughts were well considered. He was the sort of guy where I was like doubting my own intelligence and conversational abilities at the end of the conversations. Damn. Like I that guy outclasses me in every way. I thought I was gonna I went and thinking, okay, this is gonna be funny. And I got what I got was a very enriching, stimulating
He's a wonderful.
conversation. It did not help me inform the performance because I knew I wasn't going to be able to do whatever that guy was. I was like, I'm not going to be able to bring it to the film. So I'm going to have to take it in a different way. But I could certainly see uh, how life informed art in that way. And I think it was the only way it was to make a much more exaggerated version of him because but I could also see, Avi, why you thought he was so compelling as a
Yeah.
person and so contradictory, and why it was worthwhile trying to translate some of his essence into a character on the screen.
Yeah, it's that magnetism. It's again, it's like Chris is not Doug, but I wrote Doug knowing that Chris could pull it off if I like kind of help guide him in that direction. And even though I didn't really write Alan for Tim, when he came on board, I knew like, oh, he's gonna be able to offer all this like AI insight. Um, and so with the actor who was gonna play, well, not he wasn't an actor, so that I mean, he's definitely not shy, and I knew he could like be comfortable in front of a camera, but I don't think
Mm.
he has any acting experience. But he's so magnetic and he has a zany quality to him. I mean, I've known him for a very long time, like at least high school. So I knew that he would be able to bring that out in the like, it's not really based on him at all. There are elements that I took because I knew that I would want things to feel authentic, and that's why I really wanted you guys to meet. It was really like more than anything is I knew he was going to offer this insight into like working
And
on
it,
boats.
certainly that, and he was critical of the boat stuff he wrote for one thing.
Exactly, because I wanted him
Uh,
to like do
he
actually do
did not
that.
think it was well written boat content,
I hope
well,
I
at least technically accurate.
yeah.
But yeah, but he also gave me a newfound respect for the character, of the character's depth that I sort of needed to see. But there was one funny moment. I went to the bathroom and I came out of the bathroom. So I'm at the bar and he's got his phone and the TikTok was open. He's there he is.
Yeah. There's some
There's like 2 seconds on each video. Okay, so there's a kernel in there.
and Travis family was slightly inspired by a TikTok. I get I don't know TikTok, but he's very I think active on there, and he would
Oh,
send me
yeah.
it wasn't him, but he would send me some other similar thing that was trending on TikTok. And so I associated him with that because he would always send me this guy who would do all these different characters. And I was like, oh, that's
Yeah, and it's what's like so. interesting about it all to me is, and I don't want to sound like a dick, but you have these like really highly, this like really highly intelligent guy, and he's watching like the most asinine content
Uh,
on social media, and just eating it up, and like,
That's all of us, and that's
but
the beauty of
that's
the
all of
movie.
us.
That's what you were saying.
Yeah, that's all of us, and it's so interesting. And so like the character Travis, he's not stupid.
Yeah. No,
I mean, he's not stupid at all. But he's not. He's not making. I don't know.
yeah. Again, like if this movie properly like expresses what we all tried to do, it's like it's the same thing with Charlie, where it's like Charlie has a lot of depth and a lot of like like internal conflict. He's not like a dumb guy. And I think
No.
like that like AI relationship, you can really write that off really easily. And so um yeah, the goal is really if I can like bring empathy and like complexity to these characters and at the same time
Hmm.
show how funny it is. Um maybe it and with your performances and understanding that like this is all of us. Maybe it's able to like achieve a little bit of a sort of reflection point into the audience that I think
I think so.
be like the ultimate success of this movie. So couldn't have been possible without really good performances and bringing out that complexity. And I'm glad you pointed out like the universal quality of technology addiction and how it can permeate into these two very, very different things.
Hmm.
You know,
I hope you guys are. I think the movie's really being made in the editing room. I know you guys have had your work cut out for you, so it's really going to take the hard work of the editing team to really make it shine because we got a lot of raw footage, a lot it takes, but
and none
I
of it,
think the hard part's really
yeah,
going to be piecing it together.
they've been doing a fantastic job. It took a long time just to organize everything, but we still have quite a bit of work to do, but I feel like a lot of the hard stuff is done in the sense of organization, uh, talking about what we want out of it and like how it's structured and getting the right team in the right places. So it's coming together,
Right.
and I feel very good about it. And they have like been working on this for 7 months, so and they're still at it. And they like if I didn't have
Cool.
that, I think I probably would have given up at some point. But knowing that they are like still excited about the movie and still like working for equity,
Mm,
continuing to like believe in this project, speaks a lot. Helps me like kind of continue to feel excited about the movie and that we have something special here. But it should also speak a lot to like your performances because the whole movie is just these four fantastic performances, and the whole movie revolves around that.
I can't wait to see the finished Big Break
Hopefully soon.
Allentown Film Festival 2025
See, we'll see
or elsewhere.
where it's going to premiere, but we will do.
We'll see.
We'll certainly have at least a screening where everyone is invited at the very least. But hopefully there's something. Uh, Hopefully, it gets a little bit of distribution and exposure. We'll find out. Anyway, thank you
Sounds
so
great.
much, Trevor. Any last thoughts or notes?
No, that's it for me.
All right. Well,
This has been great.
yeah, this was wonderful. Thanks so much. We will talk
All
soon.
right, talk to you soon, Abby. Bye.